Yo, what up, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of It's Just Another Day in Paradise. I am your co-host, Stupid Stu. She is Tanya with a J. Say hello.
Hello.
And welcome to tonight's episode where we were going to discuss Donald Trump's pointless impeachment. What do you think about this?
It's goofy.
It's really goofy, and it's pretty much pointless. We're also going to discuss a little bit of Nancy Pelosi. I put her stupid ass outfit on there, but I'm not going to talk about her outfit a little bit. But
What outfit?
I'll show you. I'll show you
okay.
what I'm talking about. And you know, it's just the things like they play off of us, like as they play politics the way we suffer. That's the whole point of the whole bringing up Nancy Pelosi's dumbass, who absolutely makes me cringe sometimes. Like, it absolutely makes me cringe. And then, you know, we'll see what else we get into, because there's plenty of stuff to get into here, right? Like, it's just never ending.
All right. Well, just so you know, he changed his name. That's still him. He just changed his name.
It's much better. it's I feel more comfortable. What's up, Rich? How are you?
He said I feel more comfortable.
I'm doing good. That's another nickname that I feel like might be easier to say.
What's up with these wonderful names? Sweet Rich and Big Stick. I mean, what is going on
Only
here?
he knows.
I don't know.
I'll let it rest like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll give, I just got a message.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, we're good. And so we're getting into, and we'll get this Nurse Nikki in here as well.
Yeah, she's coming in a few minutes.
Yeah, so we're getting into
she is.
Trump's pointless impeachment. Like, how idiotic and pointless is this? They say that he is going to be, they passed the articles of impeachment and are going to proceed on Inauguration Day.
Right.
What are we doing?
I don't know.
What are they
I
doing?
saw something
Right.
earlier, and I usually don't comment on big like posts that get all those comments like how you do.
Yeah.
I commented. I said because somebody said, "Thank God Trump is leaving." Or thank you, Jesus, Trump is leaving. I said he was already leaving. Remember, one more week. I said so much hate for one man.
For a week. Like, you can't wait a
Like-
week. I seen a video today where they was out, it was on the Young Americans for Liberty or something like that, and they went out and they interviewed people, and they said, should Donald Trump be, and they was in California, of course, and they said, should Donald Trump be impeached? And these old women were like, yes, absolutely, he
Like-
should be thrown out of the country. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, he's gone in a week.
Right.
Like, what do you still, I mean, what do you think, Rich? Do you think this is just, I mean, what's the only thing I come up with
Yeah.
is they're trying to piss people off. That's it. That's the
Or
only thing.
so that he can't run in 2024,
Yeah.
I think. But, you know.
And I'm not even sure if that's even true. Because I heard that too. Like, if you get impeached twice, you can't run for president again. I'm really not even sure that's true. I haven't really confirmed that myself, but I guess I should look into that. But yeah,
I think you
seems
have to
really
be convicted of a crime in order to not be able to run.
Oh, well, I believe that they will find something.
Right. Something. But I thought it was like the
Yeah.
15th Amendment or
But-
something that says you can't run. I don't know. But yeah.
Well, going back to like what you said, what reason? I mean, unless it is to just piss off a whole lot more people even more, it doesn't really make much sense, because I don't see what he's leaving. I mean, we got like 3 days, 4 days. It's kind of odd that, like, even on the day of inauguration, you would continue pursuing that. You wouldn't just be ready to move on. You're already silencing him
Right.
the best you can with
Right.
off all the tech platforms. I know they want to try to minimize his influence on people when he's gone, because they're afraid that no one's going to listen to the new administration. So, but I don't
Right.
see how but I still don't see how this is going to be successful anyway. And then, other than just making people upset and making a show of it, what is its purpose? It is strange. I don't really.
It's
Yeah,
got to
I don't
be
know.
kicking the beehive. It's got to be, because everything I see in the news anymore,
Yeah.
it just feels like they're trying to push people a little bit further and a little, because they want the chaos, because out of that chaos, they're going to come out on top. They want people to storm the
Yeah.
Capitol on election day or on inauguration
Yeah, I
day.
can see that, and I know, and I can see that. I feel like that they're disappointed that people didn't get crazy at the Capitol. I think they wish they would have taken it further or something, or done something. I don't know, but because how they've treated that whole thing. They've just been using it for political reasons ever since. Using it to impeach him again. It's crazy to silence him. Big threat.
Right.
I have been
Everything's.
I have been kind of just exploring the possibility that Donald Trump has potentially been suggesting to people that he might use nuclear power forces. I think he's more employing them towards other countries, but I think that the U.S. Senate and the politicians, including Nancy Pelosi, are rumoring to people that they're afraid he's going to like nuke the Capitol building on Inauguration Day. So
Well, I've heard reports that this is all a coup, that these National Guardsmen are going to like turn on the like it's Q. That's what I've heard. Like I don't even know what to believe anymore. I just want this shit to be over. I want to get back.
Well, this
to,
is what I know. This is what
Yeah,
I know.
no, I'm
about
just like so done.
let the politicians play politics and just let us go. I'd
what
rather
they do.
just be asleep at the wheel and just live my life every day. But they won't let you. They won't allow you to. Maybe that's the wrong way to think about things. Maybe we should be out there fighting a good fight. But fuck.
Well, I think there's so much confusion out there right now about what Trump really represents, and it's starting to come to a head. Like where I think there's a big significant portion of the population who may be let down, and I don't know that they know how to cope with it. And I don't know who Trump is either. So you hear so many things that you just want to be true, and it's so easy to get caught up in that.
It is.
But I don't. I know one thing about him. I know that he loves America. I don't think that he would ever nuke the Capitol.
So that's just crazy. That just doesn't make any sense.
The rod of God.
So
He's going to drop it right on the Capitol building.
Yeah.
Well, the
So
interesting part about that, Steve, is that the news isn't telling you anything about this executive order that the president actually signed to put these nuclear satellites into our space. But they're telling you their own propaganda headlines about how Nancy Pelosi is trying to get the government to revoke President Trump's codes for nuclear missile attacks and making it seem as if he's going to attack our own country and our own people, when the reality is he very well may be planning some sort of defense against another country. But why aren't we being told that he actually did sign this executive order?
That's what I found interesting.
Giving people some information as to why these rumors are circulating about the nukes, because they came from somewhere, and I'm assuming they likely came from that source, the actual executive order, but nobody's telling you about it.
Well, this is the kind of thing, like I say all the time on the show, if they don't want you to know about it, you won't know about it. If they want you to have the information, you will. That's like 90%, 95% of the news, other than what you can pick through and kind of see what they're doing. They present it to you for a reason. They want you to know about it. But then there's things that, like that's a huge major deal. Like when you were saying that yesterday, I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. This can't be true. And I look it up, I'm like, holy shit. And I kind of looked into it a little bit more today. And it's unbelievable that this thing passed right underneath our nose, that we have that's major technology and a major war weapon. And it was signed into, it's an executive order. No, I had no clue. I follow this shit every day. I had no clue. You're not going to see that on Fox News.
No. Why not though? Why not? Why isn't anybody saying Nancy Pelosi's nuclear rumors stem from this? Why? It's almost like they don't want us to know that he is putting those satellites up there in space. Like they don't really want us to know what we're fighting for.
Right. Exactly. I don't know. When I look at this impeachment, I try my best to, because the first one was totally bogus. They didn't have anything on the first one. It was just pissed a bunch of people off. And you're going to really waste our time, because these politicians aren't cheap. They don't work for free.
Right. This shit's been going on for 4 years.
It's not like they're in the White House making, $10,000 a year or something like that, or $15,000 a year. These motherfuckers are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we're wasting our money with this whole thing again. And he's out of office the day it starts. What are you doing?
There's a reason. Yes. That's all I know, is that they would not be doing this for no reason. And I don't believe they would be doing it just to take away his pension plan and his retirement package. If they're literally willing to sacrifice the trust and cohesiveness of the entire country during a very, very delicate and already elevated time in people's political, it just doesn't make any sense, other than the fact that there is a particular reason why they don't want him there from this time to this time, and they believe he has plans to do something in this short period of time between the 6th.
They may not be even. It may not have anything to do with what they're afraid he might do. This might be every opportunity they have right now to stir up all of his supporters. Like Steve said, they're just kicking the beehive. He's the beehive, and we're all 75 million bees are like, oh shit.
Well, I mean, do you think it's just a humiliation factor?
Can't do this,
You think-
and they're just, and if you can, if that's the case. No, I don't. I honestly think if they're trying to stir things up like that by getting people riled up, it may just be that they're wanting somebody to do something crazy so they can keep pushing these things on us. When Biden comes in, he's already talked really strong about how he's going to get tough on the coronavirus and what. I don't know how you lock down more, but it can be done. There's other countries who are more locked down than we are right now, and he may just use some of this, angry Trump supporters as more reason to justify it. And I just think the more chaos that they can create, the more that they can just assume more power, because as you get people scared of things, then they're just willing to give up freedoms for, the perception of security. And so if they can just keep things kind of scary and chaotic, and
but wouldn't the reality of nuclear satellites being put into our space be a scare tactic that could potentially be effective? Like, they're hiding it.
Nothing ceases to amaze me
anymore. We don't
even
really know what that means. We don't really know what it is. I mean, if I think about it, we are starting a space force. None of the Democrats are talking crap about the space force or saying that we're not going to do that or end that. Trump started that. They're going to continue forward with that. That's just going to continue to grow to be the next branch of the, of the military. That's not stopping just because Trump's leaving. So that it could all very well be a part of equipping that too.
Right, because future warfare is going to be very interesting, because we can already kill somebody from the space right now with laser beams and shit.
If China, everybody in America relies on satellites. They give us GPS. They tell us, how close you are to the. We all use GPS in our apps. All of our technology is it's incorporated with it. If China starts taking out satellites of ours, and we start losing these capabilities, it's going to, it's going to mess with us. And I don't know what kind of things are going on up there, but it would make sense that the Space Force would be going up there to protect our assets from attack. But
I'm telling you what, nothing amazes me.
What their intentions could be.
I don't know what their intentions are here on this. Like I just don't. It's getting to the point where every single story I see, I just don't see the point in any of why it's being. I just don't see the point of what they're doing in office. Like, at what point do we and how do we even go about it? Overthrowing it, because it's literally our constitutional. I wouldn't say. I don't. It's our duty, I guess, as citizens, because this is our country. It's a people's republic. Like, this is our country. It's not theirs. I think that they've twisted it to a point where we believe they rule everything. We have to follow their rule and their law, and they rule over us. They're not representing us anymore. And it's like this transition that's happening. But it's to the point where what do we do? Something has to be done, because it's getting ridiculous.
Well, I agree with you, but I feel like there's two. If we are to work within the framework of the Constitution without making it sound like we're being radical and overthrowing things, but you see, the Constitution, it doesn't really give us anything. It's just reminding us what all those rights it gives us, we're born with anyway. It's just there to remind us that you guys, this is yours. But there's two things that we could kind of work to do within the framework of the Constitution. And they've tried to do this, I think, 30 years ago. So for one is term limits for these congressmen. Like, you have Joe Biden in the Senate for 47 years or whatever it was. That should never happen. Nobody should ever go there and be able to spend 50 years as, a federal politician. And the amount of money that they come out with, they go in with, with X, and they come out with like 50 times. They just make so much money as politicians. It shouldn't be that way.
Well, I think it ended up becoming corrupt. I think after so many years, they
Yeah,
just
so
end
that
up
happens
becoming
because
corrupt.
they start getting bought off by all these different
Right.
lobbyists and special interest groups, and then they're just owned
And then they're
anymore.
bribed
And then
by
they
somebody.
fund
What?
all of their reelection campaigns. All of their reelection campaigns are funded by those corporations, and then they just do all their bidding when it comes to lawmaking and policy making, and it's not the will of the people.
Right. Well, I mean,
So
I feel like every politician like gets into it, when they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and they want to make a difference.
yeah,
And then after about 4 to 8 years of doing this, they start seeing this big money being thrown out. Hey, pass this regulation
yeah,
so it'll shut this business down, and then I'll be able to flourish over here. And then they start getting bought off by special interests, and that's why term limits are so
yeah,
important. Eric, do you have something on term
yeah,
limits?
and
Well, I mean, I would like to see that hashtag trend I put in the chat grow, but I mean, I know it's an uphill battle because, even like other podcast friends of ours, like John DeVito and Slightly Serious, are in agreement with needing term limits, but at the same time, we know that the biggest majority of them are not going to agree to vote themselves out of a job because they're
No.
making too much money, as well as getting a taxpayer salary and retirement pension at the same time.
I don't think that. They're definitely not going to bring an end to their own jobs and their own, this getting their means of getting
exactly.
absolutely rich. But again, how do we even? Because it's our country. That's what we got to remember. Like this, we run this, right? We outnumber them 10-1, and we have certain rights in that the Constitution was written for a reason. To stop things like this, people getting drunk with power and ruling over us and things like that. But
Yes.
how in the hell would you even go
Yeah.
about that? And it's
Yeah.
it is something that is
Yep.
needed. There's no reason, like you said, there's no reason for a politician to be in office for 50 years and
Well-
almost have a guaranteed job every year.
Well, and and the common sense explanation is, our founders never intended for senators and representatives over in the House to have being in their elected positions as a lifetime job. Their duty is to serve the best interest of the constituents, and because for them to stay in office for close to 50 years, and
And I mean, how do you
imagine
even
what taxation without representation would be a good way of explaining it, because they're not representing our best interests.
I mean, it's starting to get to the point too where I don't even think these people, because nobody pays attention to these Senate races or these House races or anything like that. I just think they kind of elect themselves. I don't even think it. I mean, when's the last time? I've never voted for a member of Congress ever. I mean, how the hell does Nancy,
Right.
like Nancy Pelosi, and who we're going to talk about in here in a second, is one of the most nasty, vile human beings I've ever seen. How in the fuck is she still working there? How in the hell is she still Speaker of the House? Nobody likes this woman. Nobody. Her
And
own
there's literally
party don't even like her.
There's videos of her calling for violence on, to America. So, if Donald Trump's guilty of anything, so is she.
Well, I seen a very interesting video today of them. It was like a montage of them calling for violence against America and calling the protests that were going on back in the day, the riots that were going on in cities. And it's showing all the pictures and old women getting beat and police stations on fire. And then it had Joe Biden saying, we need to prosecute these Capitol rioters to the full extent of the law. We need to find them. All the while, back in the summer, the entire world was on fire. And Nancy Pelosi's direct quotes are like, you need to go out and you need to attack these people. And Democrats everywhere, get in their face.
There
when
should be
they
unrest in the streets.
Right, unrest in the streets and everything else. And now they're like, whoa, you stormed a Capitol building? What the hell is wrong with you?
It's just the narrative. It's sickening to just watch how they're intentionally flipping everything.
Right.
Everything they've been preaching all year long is now the complete opposite of what they're saying. And I'm sorry to say that a lady was shot in the face, but here's the reality about the Capitol riots, okay? When they first happened, there was a huge amount of misinformation. Fox News originally reported that 5 people had died. Then there were stories coming out that it was 4 people that had died, including the lady who was shot in the face. Then 4 people in addition to the lady. Originally, there were 3 police officers that had died as a result of this. And the actual factual facts are that there were a total of 4 deaths that day. The lady who got shot in the face, which was an unarmed white woman that we are not killing people over, and 3 other people had medical emergencies that day.
Right.
Completely unrelated, completely separate. One was listed as a heart attack and the other 2 were just called, quote, medical emergency. So they literally could have been anything that you can imagine that could happen to a person who has diabetes or heart disease or a panic attack. It wasn't a direct result of the riots at all. And then there was the question about the one officer. They were saying he died as a consequence of the riots when in fact he committed suicide. And then the last officer that they're saying died as a result of his injuries, his family's actually asking people not to jump to conclusions, to wait for investigations to come out, that he died from a blood clot in his brain and that they didn't want to politicize what was going on. So the reality is he may have died from injuries that he received while he was being attacked in the riots, or he could have died from a stroke, just like these other people died of a heart attack and other medical emergencies that happened. We don't know the actual cause of death yet, but everybody is saying that he died as a result of these attacks. But what actually happened that day is it was reported that he was injured during the attacks and he went back up to his office. So he died after the fact. He didn't die in the middle of this. He went back up to his office and apparently collapsed. And then there was misinformation being spread that he had died before he actually died because he was, I guess, brain dead or on life support and they were going to withdraw care. So
right. They're just trying to paint this
massive amounts of misinformation.
I mean, it's crazy how much and it's everything. It's not like, I don't know. I've seen a video today of Trump supporters stopping people from breaking windows in the Capitol building. It's like, you literally don't know what to believe in anything anymore. You cannot take this stuff for face value. It's a shame that there's people out there that do. It's a shame that there's people out there to watch CNN and they're like, man, that is crazy. Those people, but it's when the stuff starts coming out, because stuff inevitably comes out. It's why they try to, suppress information as much as they do. They don't want you to get that stuff. Yeah. But it's like, I just don't know. It's so hard to believe anything.
I know it's so hard to believe anything, but I do believe that there's, bad characters in every group, and they're usually the minority, and that there was an overwhelming amount of people there who weren't there to do what they were there to do, but unfortunately, they get labeled the terrorist,
right. Just to clarify before people get all upset, you mean minority by just number of people, because people get upset about everything. You can't say anything anymore.
Right. No, the troublemakers were the minority of the group of the whole Trump supporters there, and and it's so easy to get caught up in emotion. So I'm sure if there were a few people who just got caught up, maybe, oops, I shouldn't have done that. But there is probably a little small group of agitators, and just unfortunately they ruined it for everybody else.
That's exactly how these things go. That's exactly what they do. That's exactly what happened in the Black Lives Matter rally too, which is why the right and why Trump supporters have to be careful when they say, see what they're doing, because it takes a small group of agitated people and very passionate and very, very, their adrenaline's flowing and are being misled anyways. Even if they are starting the fires, they have no idea why they're doing it. But it just takes a small amount of people to start something crazy. That's all it takes. And then everybody else follows.
And when there's this much emotion and this number of people showing up to events on both Black Lives Matter protests as well as like MAGA rallies.
Right.
There are agent provocateurs who know how to take control of that emotion and direct it towards something nefarious, like breaking windows or setting on fire. I don't know if you saw one of the arrests that was made and put in the news of a guy from Utah. And he was actually a known Antifa protester, and he was interviewed on CNN as like a social justice expert or something during the Black Lives Matter protests. And he was just arrested because he was at the Capitol building, and his own video footage is why they were able to arrest him. He's screaming on the steps, "Let's go! Look at all these people. We can do this. He even starts yelling, "I have a knife. Let me up there."
Yeah.
And
I was just looking
bragging
at this.
in other. Yeah, did you find it? And then there's apparently he has other posts where he has pictures of himself disguised as a Trump supporter, Trump hat.
Yeah, I saw a video with all that in
whatever.
the same video, and he was actually right
Yeah,
there
and
filming.
so
when the girl got
you can't act
shot.
like these people aren't out there taking advantage and using people against themselves. You know, as soon as that happened, he led that in a sense. You know?
Right. Yeah.
And,
I've actually got it pulled up on
of his
Facebook if you
video.
want to see it.
Like
Yeah.
saying, calm down, we need to settle. Like I've seen so many videos where like the people in the background are like trying to deter the vandals and the angry mob from like being more violent and continuing to erupt in things.
His name is John Jaden X. Sullivan.
That's him right there?
That's who you're talking about.
He
He
looks-
looks like he's crazy. Oh shit.
Yeah, his
I
eyes
know.
look like Zuckerberg's.
He looks like he's absolutely
Damn.
nuts. But yeah, I mean, yeah, Antifa members.
yeah,
there
yeah,
you go.
he's either-
They infiltrate these groups
Jeez.
and they make it seem like we're right wingers, like we're Trump supporters. I don't know. Yeah, he
They
looks like he's.
infiltrate everything,
So,
and bottom line is
I
people
know that's
can be
just
paid
one
off to do
example.
just about anything.
Go ahead.
So I know that's just one example, but you can't. But it's proof that those situations exist. It happens.
Well, when people laugh at Antifa, I said this last time we was on the air, and I say this a lot. When people laugh, you shouldn't be laughing at it because they're smart. What they lack in bronze, they make up for in brains, and they're being trained by trained Marxists. They're being trained by people who know exactly what they're doing. The leader of Black Lives Matter is a made Marxist. She come out and said, I am a trained Marxist. I am a Marxist. That's what I'm. And people don't understand. I don't think people quite understand what Marxists are, what
Wasn't she
their
also
agenda
in prison?
is. Yes. And I wish I had the story, and I wish I would have saved this and pulled this stuff up, but I don't have it. But there was reports saying she was saying stuff like we're superior race, like the black people, African Americans are a superior race mentally, physically, and I was like, holy shit. That's not racist at all, is it? Like, could you imagine?
She was also pardoned by either the Clintons or the Obamas. I
Yes.
can't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was I believe
And
it
now
was
she runs
Bill
for
Clinton.
White
It was
House.
Bill Clinton. That's who it was. Bill Clinton pardoned
And I think
her.
another thing to also think of is a lot of those radicals are probably required to read Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radical book almost every day, or as part of like their radical training.
Right. It is a trained like militia. It really is. Like we don't just look. They're not just a bunch of punk kids with gauged ears and dyed hair. They're trained. They're trained to go in and infiltrate and cause chaos. They're paid. I did a show like months ago, and I tracked back some of Soros's money, and I think he pays like 4.1 was the number. I think it was $4.1 billion a year goes to these radical groups, and it flows through one of his little his little website. It's like
laundering facilities.
Right, basically. It's a democratic I wish I had it up. It's one of my past shows or whatever. It's one of his little democratic societies is what it is. And $4.1 billion a year flows through this place, and they send people out to different locations to cause chaos. They send them in U-Haul trucks and whatever. They bus them in. I've literally seen Antifa get off of buses and with their baseball bats and their billy clubs and their bear spray and shit like that. And they're busting. They don't have where do they get the money to do this shit? To come from all over the country to one location.
Right.
It's not by accident.
I believe
it's by
it.
design.
No, I believe that it's not by accident, and I haven't gone down the George Soros rabbit hole yet, but I hear a lot about it, and I believe it. I believe what you're saying.
I wish I had.
A lot of money. Yeah.
I'm trying to pull this up or whatever, but I probably won't be able to find it because it was I spent like 3 hours prepping for that show, and I had it all pulled up, and it takes forever. It takes forever to find information on, and you have to do a lot of digging and a lot of research to actually find it, because Google will only give you, like, I just pulled it up right now, like BBC, you get Forbes, you get, CNN and all that stuff. What do you got, Eric?
The best search engine to use instead of using Google, Yahoo, or
DuckDuckGo.
Bing, you need to go to DuckDuckGo. Yes.
I know. I keep hearing it, man. I keep hearing it. DuckDuckGo. I got to do it. I'm just
And
so
you'll
used to
see-
Google
you'll
being
see
like
all
the
these-
standard.
Yeah.
I guess.
Different news stories reporting, like you'll see all your like classical MSN, CNBC, CNN, like reporting the same story, literally the same story over and over and over again. And then you'll come across like the Baltimore Sun or the Gateway Pundit or whatever it is. And they're all these like names that nobody's heard of. And then everybody just says that they're conspiracies because they're just smaller news companies that aren't giving you the exact same story that every other news company is giving.
Years ago, when you search Google, you could find, or even YouTube. I found it hard to find shit on YouTube now. Like when you search something, you'd be able to find it. Now, oh my God. Yeah, you better be ready to dig. You better be ready to spend a couple hours trying to find what you actually want. You're going to have to go to this site, then this site, and then you're going to have to start putting the pieces together until you actually find exactly what it is that you're looking for. It's difficult.
Yesterday, I was trying to watch videos on the, like, just various videos, and it was on, I think, the, Clout Hub maybe, and there was another website I was on that gives news, but I'm sorry, hold on, I'll be right back.
Oh, you're good.
I'll be right back.
Uh-oh.
So, I don't know where she went. Sorry, what was she talking about? Oh, the DuckDuckGo thing. Yeah, DuckDuckGo is a good one as an alternative to those other things. You'll see, like I think she was trying to say, you'll see different search results for news articles that you might not see on Google. And you were talking about YouTube. I miss the old YouTube, like you said.
Me too.
The old YouTube was so great. You could like search for something, find it, and it would suggest like great videos to follow up with.
The rabbit holes,
and now
right?
it's awful. Yeah. And now
that
it's all buried now. It's all different now.
I just wanted to say that yesterday I was watching these videos, and in the middle of watching them over and over and over again, I kept getting notices on my phone that there was no internet. Oops, there's an internet error. Oops, this video can't be played. And I'm like, well, this doesn't make sense. So I turned off my Wi-Fi, and it literally happened all day long, no matter what I was trying to watch. It was like somebody on the other side of tech is actively trying to shut you down while you're in the middle of trying to watch these videos. And then I saw another man who was talking about how he was experiencing the same problem, only he was watching the traffic in his group, or he was like following his group or watching his things, and the traffic to his stuff was not stopping, despite the fact that you continue to get these notifications that the internet is down.
Right. I've had that happen to me. I don't know if you guys have ever. I've had that stuff happen to me too as well. When you're like looking at something in particular, or a video that we've obviously seen before, and we go to search that video. Remember we was watching Fall of Cabal, night one. Okay, Fall of Cabal is a 3-hour long documentary. It's a QAnon documentary, which I'm not big on Q, but it was a very well put together documentary.
It was good. We watched it. It too. It was good. Yeah.
Well, I watched it night one. Everything's fine, we stop it. We go back to find it the next day. Couldn't fucking find it anywhere.
Right, every time it was reworded. It was worded different every time.
Right, and I get a message, he's like, hey, man, this is weird, bro. I cannot find this.
Right.
He's texting me like, I can't find this fucking documentary. I was just watching it yesterday. I was like, yeah, the same shit happened to me. You can, and it was worded differently, and you had to dig. And the same thing happened with when we was trying to watch the Hitler one. What was it called? I can't remember what the hell it was called. It was something about Nazi Germany and the things that you didn't know about what was going on.
I forget what it was called.
Me too, but we couldn't find it the second day. It's almost like it is weird how that works. I miss old YouTube too. You ever had that happen to you, Eric? You ever had that stuff when you're searching something and you're watching something and then it's just gone?
I've not personally had it happen to me, but when I was on Gab earlier, I would notice that I would sign in like wanting to post something, and for some reason my signing in kept like timing out to where I couldn't post anything. And I'm also left wondering, could like the phone and cable companies be throttling the algorithm? Like my cell phone provider is like AT&T, and then the Wi-Fi at the house that I live in is like Comcast Xfinity. I don't know whether there might be some like collusion contract that they might be having with a lot of these big tech companies and social media platforms, to like throttle the internet speed or force the algorithm to time out on a particular, website.
Right.
Yeah, those same things were happening to me too when all this was going on.
Because I know it's been 5 days since Parler had to shut down, and and I've been trying to see if I can get a hold of the Parler CEO, John Matsey, to come on Slightly Show for an interview, but I haven't heard anything back. But I know I'm already signed up for that MeWe and Cloud Hub as well.
Well, yeah, I got to get into this other social media stuff, but I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to this Nancy Pelosi stuff because I want to talk about Nancy Pelosi because I hate Nancy Pelosi with all my heart.
Well, I'm getting about ready to have to drop soon, but remember, y'all are honorary members of the VOP empire, and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, hey, Eric, we'll see you again hopefully sometime next week
Eric.
when we go on, and we appreciate you coming on every time you come on.
Oh yeah, because I mean y'all are having really great discussions, and if our friend Dan Smeriglio of the VOP USA Radio Network is listening to this published show, I'm sure he would be in agreement that y'all would be like great candidates for his network and not have to stay on a censorship friendly platform like Podbean forever.
Right. And we appreciate all the work that you do and all the help and all the promotion and getting us out there and getting us connected.
Well, and then in Wolf's Real Talk Radio down in the chat, he's good people too, and as is Cummings' Culture and John DeVito and a few other friends.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's all a big
serious
group of people. It's all, and this whole idea that I had really right here, I stole this from Slightly to have the group discussions because I always wanted to keep it kind of like just us talking, you know what I mean? And then I was like, man, we're missing something. We're missing something.
You could have people like, of different political beliefs. Like you might have people who are in agreement with you, and then might have people who are not in agreement with you. But the only rule is being respectful and not being combative and having a civilized discussion, and the government, as we know it, fears the fuck out of that.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yep. And I would love to have people with different points of view on here, but it's impossible to have people with different points of view on here. I think it's not impossible to say it's impossible, but like you said, it's trying to find somebody that's civil, that'll keep it civil.
Yeah.
Because then they'll just start screaming, white supremacists.
You probably also have people who probably, say they want to debate you, but they don't have the balls to truly debate you.
Right. I had a really good discussion with a Democrat from England. Remember that? I have to post that video.
Is that Bahram you or somebody else?
No, it was somebody else. It was a woman who called in. She said, "What's your problem with leftists?" And then we ended up having a very good conversation, and we ended it on a very high, because she agreed with me and I agreed with her. I said, so, we started talking about,
the only people I can think of are either Herbal Society or Lawless Scotland. I'm not sure.
No, yeah, this was a woman from the UK, and she was a random
or maybe
caller.
Somebody else that
she came in hot. She came in hot, wanted to fight and argue with me, and then we ended up leaving with this big agreement, and we was like, oh, I guess we're not so different after all, right? Because I'm not a Republican, and I was trying to explain this to her, like, I'm not.
I'm an unregistered independent, and the reason I voted for Trump is in 2016, 2020 is, to me, I feel like he represented the best interest of America.
Right.
I know I may not oftentimes, like a lot of people don't like the shit that comes out of his mouth and the shit that he was tweeting before he got banned.
I agree.
But the rule in life about Donald Trump is what you see is what you get.
Right. Yeah.
Very well said.
I don't agree with a whole lot that he says either, but
the only way they can shut him up is to take his social medias away, like he's fucking 10.
Well, and then they might have just used a reinforcement tactic on him because, the people who hate him are just going to want to listen to him even more now. So they can have, like the Bonnie Raitt song, let's give them something to talk about.
Right. Oh, Twitter's going to miss Donald Trump, trust me.
He's banned from Snapchat forever.
Well, Twitter was on life support before Donald Trump ever ran for president, became president. But since they banned him, you could bet Twitter's finally in the shitter.
Right. That's where the power lies. I'm telling you, we're the number one consuming country in the world. Just stop consuming.
Don't any better.
If you want to make a difference, just stop consuming. That's where we hold the power. We're the number one consumer. You don't like what Apple's doing? Stop buying Apple products. Get other people to stop doing it. You want to shut down Twitter? Get people to delete their Twitter accounts. They'll change their shit real quick. I have one friend who is a member of the Free Think Institute who got kicked off of Twitter, along with Trump and Sidney Powell and Michael Flynn and others. But you know what? It's all good because him and his colleagues at the Free Think Institute are seriously interested in doing a podcast and on VOP. So, that's going to be the shit for sure. Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
All right,
But,
I gotta move on to this fucking
But
Nancy
I
Pelosi
digress.
shit.
But we're moving on.
Twitter. I want to pull up Nancy Pelosi. Did you see the outfit that she wore for the inauguration? Everybody making a big deal about this dumb
I didn't
shit.
actually.
I don't understand
Is it
why.
the black one?
Why the
That?
fuck this is
That
newsworthy?
was the
First off,
impeachment outfit.
the
Black
impeachment
Oh.
outfit, the black one with the necklace and her little impeachment.
Because somebody
outfit.
died, right?
This was a big deal. No, this was the impeachment outfit. She wore the same one for the second impeachment because it was super
Oh.
important.
Yeah, it's a funeral.
But she was
I-
missing a very important piece. Did you notice that? The golden
pin?
mace and hand brooch.
Yeah,
It's
it
called
looks
the,
like
the
it.
golden mace and hand brooch. It's the symbol of authority for the House of Representatives. It's noted to be one of the U.S. government's most important historical symbols. So it is intriguing that she wore it the first time around, but she didn't have it on this time because it does sound like it's pretty important. But it also sounds like it is a pretty strong symbol of U.S. government and like constitutional rights, which she could not be wearing it because she's anti-government, or
Oh,
she
wow.
could not be wearing it because maybe she's already been charged with something and we just haven't been told yet. But
Nice.
there's no reason at all. But I do think with that all black outfit and that pin standing out, like it was so big and so gaudy and so significant, and she is the speaker of the House, and she loves to rub it in people's faces. Like, why wouldn't she just have it on again? I don't know.
That's interesting. It's very interesting because everything's a symbol. They love their symbology. They love it. They love putting it right in front of your face.
Yeah. So where was it?
Right. Yeah. I can't.
Speaking of,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was real quick. Speaking of symbolism and symbology, did you guys hear who is singing the national anthem at Biden's inauguration?
Oh fuck! I don't even want to know.
I saw a couple that are going to be singing, but I don't know the national
is it?
anthem.
Singing the national anthem will be Lady Gaga.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course.
So, like, Lady Gaga's going to be there,
Yep.
J-Lo, and somebody else, I thought.
Yep.
Tom Hanks, Justin Timberlake.
Man.
Oh my god!
Lady
It's,
Gaga.
it's like
Yay.
they love their fucking.
It's
God,
crazy.
Hollywood's gonna come back. I don't want to deal with it all again. I
know.
feel like
Hollywood's
Trump
gonna come
suppressed
back.
them all. Like, and they was like,
I know. It was kind of nice, right?
It's like now we're gonna go through the endless cycle.
They didn't know what to do with themselves. It was kind of amusing to see.
Right, and people, and if that's, I tell you what really is shocking to me is how out of touch Hollywood and mainstream media and people like Nancy Pelosi and the left is with how the American people really think with how they, because when you go, I don't give a fuck what it is. If you see anything, it could be a left wing post on Facebook or whatever. If you go to the comments, it is flooded with conservative comments.
Right.
Like you'll be
It
hard
is,
pressed
yeah.
to find
Still on
anybody
Twitter,
that
even despite
opposes.
purging everybody, there's still a lot of conservative people talking about things on the comment section.
Right. It's like you'll be hard pressed to find somebody. I feel like most of America is all very conservative. I just feel that way
feel like-
because of what I see.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't see a whole lot of Democratic people out there, a whole lot of leftists out there. Are they just? They used to be this really loud minority, and we were the silent majority.
Right.
Well, the silent majority woke up, started talking shit, and now you don't see them anymore.
Do you remember when the left was like all rage against the machine and like
Right.
and now they're
right.
like now they're all raging on behalf of the machine. I heard that somewhere.
They are the machine now.
But it's just crazy. Now they just are the machine, and it's just so strange what happened to that leftist that was, more anti-government.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and now they're all like, they're.
Owl theory
I don't
with
even
the
think that
government.
they're so misled. They feel like they're raising a revolution, but they're just playing into the hands of the people who want the people in power, the powerful people that pull the strings. And I'm talking to powerful people, not President Trump. I'm talking, $1 trillion Rothschilds and shit like that. They're literally playing into their hands and doing exactly what they want them to do. And they have the mindset that they're actually fighting against this stuff. They're doing exactly what they're told to do. They're being led down paths. And it's so obvious to see, like you are being led down a path for a reason. Like they are pulling your strings and you're doing exactly what they want you to do. It's like in the African-American community. I say it all the time. Like they... Constantly the message is a message of despair, right? It's constantly a message of despair. You can't make it because of your skin color of your skin. Everybody hates you because of the color of your skin.
Yeah.
Instead of looking at that and saying, hold on, like when you got a Ben Carson, right? I love Ben Carson, read his book, Gifted Hands, love the guy because he's about self-accountability. He was raised in the hood. His mom was on food stamps. He busted his ass, worked hard, and now he's one of the greatest brain surgeons to ever pick up a fucking scalpel. They'll call him a coon. They'll break him down. They'll say he's an Uncle Tom. He's worthless. He doesn't. And then instead of looking at this man like, you know what? I can do that too. They look at him like, oh, he's against me. Everybody's against me. Instead of a message of hope, it's always a message of despair. And that mindset, and I lived with that mindset for 34 years, that mindset will get you fucking nowhere. You'll get nowhere with it.
Well, they beat that into their heads. They have to remind them all the time that they are nothing, that they are below, or that they, and they always have been. And it's like that's the wrong message. That they just keep. That's the message they're telling them. What they're trying to do is strip them of their individual power and the ability to say, I can stand up for myself.
Right,
And
I can do this.
Here. This is who you are. Now let us be the ones that get you out of this.
Let us take care of you.
Helps you through this.
Right,
Let
you
us
don't need
take
it.
care of you.
Don't go out and strive for greatness or try to go get some great job or try to get some great education. We want the average African American male reads at 8th grade level. We don't want you to have to worry about anything. We'll take care of you. Instead of striving for greatness, you need us. And if you try to explain this, like if there's somebody out there listening right now who is African American, they're probably listening to this saying he's a white supremacist. Trust me, I lived in the hood. I had the same mindset. I always thought everybody was always against me. I'll never be anything. I need the government assistance and all that shit. I need help, whatever. Until 34 years, I'd lived my life that way. And then whenever I talk about this stuff, people are like, and that's the point I'm trying to make here is you'll shun anybody that tries to show you greatness in the name of them, because they make you feel like you're nobody and you need them. And you don't.
Yeah. And it would really be unfortunate if someone did hear that and said, oh, this is what a white supremacist would say, when literally this is just a criticism of how a political party, the Democrats, use them for political power by exploiting victimhood and telling them that they have just been the victims of all this stuff. It is white liberals telling them that. It is white liberals who are running their cities, and it is white liberals who have been doing so for more than 50 years. To what success, and to what's come of it. And that's why a lot of these policies, they target the family structure, because the family, the government, you don't need government. You can run your own home. You can set your own boundaries, your own rules. The government doesn't like that you have that power. They want you to have to rely on them. So by Joe Biden's crime bill that made it way easier to lock up African American men.
Fathers,
how many fatherless homes did terrible drug policies create in the 80s and 90s? And it's just started breaking up the family structure in those communities.
That's interesting to say that. I mean, Denzel Washington says it. He says if there's not a father in a home, then they'll go out and find a father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people go out, and it's not just African Americans. It's whoever lives in the hood. Like I lived there. I didn't have no father. I went out and fucking found one, and it wasn't the one I needed.
No, it's those poor communities. It's those communities.
Right. And they make you feel like you cannot, for whatever reason, you cannot rise up out of it. You have to have them. You have to need them. And it's crazy because, I mean, they passed the laws in the 80s to make it to where you would get money. If you was a single mother, you would get more money, right?
Yeah,
you would get taken care of. And then you break down the family structure, and then you have a bunch of fatherless children running around with no disciplinarian. Mom's working 2 jobs, kids are running the street doing whatever, and then it just continues to snowball and snowball. But when you try to explain this to somebody in a rational manner, it's impossible to get through to them. Like, I'm not your enemy. I've lost friends over this shit. I'm not your enemy. I've lived it. Right. I've seen it. We were the only white family in our neighborhood for 5 or 6 years. I've seen it firsthand. I've watched it happen. I've watched kids who were innocent and like, I'm going to grow up to be this. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, man. And then I see them and they're standing at the damn basketball court selling dope with a gun in their waistband, just like like everybody else. And it was like, damn, I look at these kids and I'm like, damn, that's a fucking shame that nobody told that kid, you can be whatever you want. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. But yet I'm the bad guy because I bring it to light, you know? Then they demonize anybody. That's why I brought up Ben Carson, because he's an African-American role model right here, and you demonize the fuck out of the man.
You know who I want to bring up?
Yeah.
Who?
Betty White. She's going to be 99 on
Jesus
Sunday.
Christ, Betty White.
99.
Well,
that lady's going to live forever.
See, and we got to think about the world we're leaving behind for Betty White.
I know, right? She ordered in sliced bread.
Exactly.
When the world ends, there's
just
going to be
one last-
cockroaches and Betty White. Go ahead.
Oh,
I had to. I'm
Now I do
sorry.
forget.
See?
I'm sorry. Continue on. I forget what I was gonna say.
No, you're good. I
It
just
was
wanted
good,
to
too. It's gonna
lighten
be
the
good.
mood.
You fucking ruined it. with Betty
No,
White.
it wasn't gonna be good. It was. Let's see. Yeah,
No.
I'll, if it comes to me, I'll bring it back up.
I'm sorry.
But it had to do with. No, it's fine. It had to do with what Steve was just saying with Ben Carson and how they attack him and man.
Look at it.
it's not
Candace
gonna be
Owens. Look at Candace Owens. Here's this
Yeah.
young lady who's in her 20s, and somebody I look
Oh
up
no, I was
to.
gonna say. Okay, I got it.
Go ahead.
So the Democrats, the way they're using this stuff against those communities, and then like you kind of just talked about how like you get labeled the bad guy, and like the problem with the Democrats is that the only diversity to them is just people who look different, but it's not diversity if it's people who look different but think the same. You know, that's not
Right.
diversity. But all that matters to them are the optics. It's how they. It's why they're masters with the mainstream media. It's all about the optics, the perceptions and illusions that they can create for us to get us to react and feel certain ways, to give
Right.
up, like I said, to create fear if that's to give up freedoms to them so they can control more power, if that's to, incite
always this-
riots or incite division. They just
There's
want to use
always-
it against us.
Something like they always do little shit too, and I noticed this a lot. Like Nickelodeon kids, the Disney kids. You ever notice how like? And I wanted to bring this up when I was talking about fatherless homes. Whenever you watch a Disney show, the mom's always the one in charge. She's always got her shit together. She's always the one that runs everything. She's the central vocal point of the family, and the dad's always some goofy fucking moron who has no idea what's going on, walking around getting hit, and he's the butt of the joke always. That's like that little indoctrination stuff that they do to kids.
Yeah.
Any
And they
Nickelodeon show, any
started-
Disney show.
Yep. They started that early. As far as back as I can remember, because look, Homer Simpson, Peter Griffin. It's in these adult cartoons even.
Yep.
But then you look at like Everybody Loves Raymond, even Home Improvement. I mean, they just paint the fathers to be out like incompetent doofuses, and they emasculate them.
It's for a reason.
And it's kind of funny. I think it was a meme today I saw somewhere. It said it's kind of hilarious. In the most emasculated society ever, all of a sudden masculinity is a growing threat.
Right. Toxic masculinity. I hear that shit all the time. Toxic masculinity. It's because they know that they have to, because they know how important the role of the male is.
Tread lightly, woman hater.
I know you say I'm a woman hater, but whatever. I'm not a woman hater.
It's just amazing. It's amazing for a group of people who literally worship at the altar of science are so quick to ignore biology,
Right.
and nature.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
You just said that, and I wanted to pull up this. I hope I can find it. Did you guys see the list of things you can't say in the house anymore? Did you
Oh
see
my
that?
God, no.
Oh
What?
my God. The whole you can't say like mother, father, stepfather, stepmother, mother-in-law,
What are you
son-in-law.
talking about?
Dude, I gotta find this. I have to find this.
No he's, no she's.
Oh,
Right,
man.
you have to use pronouns and shit
Woman,
like
gender.
that.
man,
Gendered language.
gender neutral.
Yeah, it's all banned in the house now. Like that's literally. I gotta find a friend that posted it because that's
You
the
know
only
what?
way.
If you can find an article, I actually saw a headline for an article that said Nancy Pelosi said in the House that she is a mother, a grandmother, a
Yep,
sister,
yep.
a wife, and they were like, "Wait, I thought she just banned gendered language."
Right,
But
exactly.
She apparently used it very
Gender-
recently.
I'm gonna try to pull this up and pull up the list because I seen the
I
full list
was
today.
I was going to comment on this diversity thing you were talking about, Richie.
Yeah.
Biden has been like advertising to everybody that he has the quote most diverse cabinet elected by an official in history. But like there are people out there actually debating about whether or not these people are actually qualified to do the job, or if they're just appointed to the job to make it look like they have a diverse group of people.
That's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what matters. That's what matters.
I'm trying to find this list of names. God, I was reading it today, and I had somebody, and I was reading some of the comments on this person's post, and there was one woman that said, "This is a lie. This isn't true. They're just doing this in the house, and you don't know how it affects you until it affects you." And I'm thinking in my mind, like, really, lady? Like, I didn't comment because I didn't feel like arguing with somebody who doesn't know what their fucking gender is, but I'm thinking in my mind, like, is this what we're doing? Like, you can't say, I don't know where the list is, but you can't say mother, father, son, daughter, aunt, uncle, mother-in-law, father-in-law, son-in-law, daughter. Like, it's literally everything. It's like a huge, long list. Brother, sister, sister-in-law, brother-in-law, all of it. Uncle, aunt, none of it. What the fuck are we doing?
This is just amazing.
It is amazing.
It's unbelievable.
Maybe that person.
That's the pandering that they do to reach every little nook and cranny of
right, to get in, to seep into every crack.
But it's just about but they don't really care. It's just the illusion. Yeah, go ahead.
The lady who said you don't know until it affects you, she may have been, I'm just trying to think, on the other side, she may have been referring to like, what if your son grows up and suddenly decides he wants to be a woman? And I actually do know a girl that I went to high school with that I still work with to this day, and has she raised her children. They believe in God and all, the same like Christian morals. Well, her daughter is in middle school and decided that she likes girls and boys, and then she decided that she wanted to be called by a different name, and then she started to express a desire for a gender transition, and so her mom's now taking her to gender clinic to have medical professionals help her daughter with this, but she no longer calls her daughter anymore. She calls her son. And I ran into him, for the first time since like this transition has been happening, and I said, "So what are you doing around here?" She's like, "Oh, my son had an appointment at the clinic," and
Sorry.
I knew exactly what she was talking about, because we had talked about how her daughter at the time was expressing these interests. And so, all I could do was just go with it. I was just like, yeah, how's he doing? And
I don't know how you do that.
And it felt very weird and very different to me, but because she was accepting it, and she was changing things, in her life and her family. I just have to respect that that's what they're doing. And I also know that this has been a very, very difficult thing for her. I
could only imagine.
Yeah, I guess I should frame my stance this way. It isn't so much about the whole gender thing. My whole thing is just the fact that like these are lawmakers trying to police language, and like when you start policing language, it's just very strange. I should be able to say my mother in public without fear that someone's gonna be upset that I use the term mother for my mom.
How are you supposed to describe her?
Well, exactly, and that's what I mean.
She is the woman who gave birth to me. She is the person who gave birth to me.
The person.
No, you wouldn't even say she. That person gave birth
policing
to me.
That person. That's fucking
go
crazy.
ahead.
It's a policing of language that I don't like. It's just a policing of language, and I don't think that people, I'm going to use someone's pronoun if I know it, but you can't assume that I'm just going to be ready to play pretend in my perspective and in my reality. I'm not, but it doesn't, and I'm not trying to offend.
That's what you're trying to, that's the whole point of it, right? If I see you and you look like a woman, and you are a woman and you identify as a man, how the fuck am I supposed to know? And I don't, it's not none of my business. I don't care. I'm just going to I'm going to call you what I'm going to call a spade. I don't know what the fuck. I used to run around, and we've known plenty of gay people. I don't give a fuck I could care less. I don't care what you want to identify. It's your life. Live it how way you only live here on this earth so long, but don't expect me to just automatically know everything about you. And I used to run around with this woman who looked exactly like a man, right? She looked like a boy. And she was a gay woman, whatever. She was actually, you know, we worked together for many years. And I remember being at the bar and she would go to the bathroom and they'd be like, sir, you have to use the women's or the men's bathroom. You're going into the women's. And she'd be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And then they'd be like, oh my God, you know, I'm so sorry. But she never got offended or got shitty about it. She knew.
Right.
She knew she looked like a guy, you know. She wasn't like, I identify as a woman or I identify as a man. Like, calm down a little bit. And as far as the kids thing goes, like, they're indoctrinating these kids to make them feel like you could change your gender when you're 3 years old or 5 years old. TLC literally has a show where they're changing, you know, letting kids change their gender and shit. And being a teenager is already confusing enough. Mm-hmm. It's already tough enough. Like, you have no way, you don't know what direction you're going to go in your life. There's so many different things hitting you from so many different directions that the last thing we need to be doing is confusing everybody and muddying up the waters even more with these kids' sexuality.
It's fucking mind-blowing.
I don't know what I would do if my son came to me and said, Dad, I want to be a girl. I want to identify as a girl.
You done lost your mind.
I would do.
That's what I would do.
Most of these,
you'd still love your son, and you would still support him, even if it was weird and uncomfortable, and you went through all the crazy emotions. Eventually, in the end, you would still love your son, and you would still support his decisions.
I don't know if I'd call him a she, though. I'd be like, you're just a gay male. Like, fucking don't. I'm not going to call you a woman. You're not a woman.
But I also think this. I also think the scenario you just kind of painted would be really highly unlikely. I don't think that would just happen out of the blue. If your son or my daughter were to come to me one day and say something like that, it'd probably be something that you're already kind of expecting or seeing because you know your kids.
Right.
And you see, especially if you raised them. You know, kids, and it would probably be in a scenario where you kind of be in the back of your head, like, okay, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
But I don't see that, you know.
That might be why I just had the reaction I
don't think parents are truly blindsided. I think if a parent really knows their kids, they know that something was maybe a little different.
I can get that. Makes sense. Yes, it does.
Yeah, but
I agree with that.
I don't think you're helping their mental. I don't think you're helping their mind at all when you.
No, I personally, and you know, people probably would take offense to this. I do think that a lot of kids who feel that way, they also have other associated mental illnesses, and I don't know what, you know, if one's because of the other, the chicken and the egg. I don't know. But I feel like a lot of them have some type of mental illness, and maybe they, you know, I would support their mental health in every way I could. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I do agree in the strange nature of it all, because it is something that seems to be a phenomenon of the 21st century, and it's happening a lot more.
Right.
Right. It wasn't like this back in the day.
It's also strange. They're incorporating it into pop culture and into culture and entertainment, and that is very strange. It does
normalizing it,
a different approach. Yeah, it's a very strange thing the way that they're trying to present it to us. Yeah,
right. I mean, you could even look at hip hop artists, which back in the day, hip hop artists ran the streets. They were gangster, blah blah blah. Now you look at hip hop artists, and I don't know if half of them are men or women. I have no idea what the fuck they're wearing, what they. I mean, and like you said, it's incorporating this shit into pop culture. And everything. I was watching the other day. I was ripping into. I don't know if you've seen Ellen Page or if you ever watched The Umbrella Academy or like she wants to be called Elliot Page. Like, this is the fucked up part about it. I was ripping into her about it. You identify yourself as a man now, but you're playing female roles in movies. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're a woman who identifies as a man that's playing female roles in movies. Like,
and
what?
Wonder why everybody's confused.
She might be gender fluid. He might be.
That's his pronoun. That's his pronoun. But I don't know. I mean, maybe people and like when people shouldn't take so much offense to it when I call a he who identifies as a she a fucking he. You look like a man. You act like a man. You have a penis. Like, what do you? I mean, I don't know what you want to be called. And like you said, I don't know if I would feel comfortable saying.
There?
I don't know. I don't feel comfortable calling a guy a woman. And you take it a step further. I don't like it that men are in the damn bathroom with girls at the fucking high school.
Yeah, man.
I didn't even know that shit happened.
That's my biggest problem.
What gets me is like if you're if you're, say you're a woman and you transition into a man, and then you date women,
Right.
So you're not gay in the outside eye, but prior to your gender transition, you were a lesbian. So it's
Right.
very confusing for me to understand when people do like gender transitions and then like date people as if they're straight.
Well, I seen a fucking story like 2 months ago. It was a transgendered woman and a transgendered man had a baby together. So the man's the woman and the woman's the man, and they're having a kid. And I'm over here like, what the fuck? Where's the line? And how in the hell am I supposed to know?
Yeah.
What the fuck I'm supposed to act like? You got a transgendered man having a baby with a transgendered woman. Why the fuck can't you just be man and woman? What the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Oh man.
Like, why do you have to make it so difficult for me to understand? I'm trying to play along with y'all's little game. Like, just make it normal.
I guess we should just be fortunate that we don't have to struggle like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
guess.
We really don't know what it's like to have those feelings and to have those
But
emotions. I know
but the
mental
problem
illness
is
drives
we're
around
we're
all the
attacked. We're attacked all the time. Like, I'm not trying to be like this conversation we're having right now. I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm just trying to say, fuck. How am I supposed to know?
Yeah, how are you supposed
What's
to
so
know?
funny about that is that I think it was Dave Chappelle who recently incorporated this into one of his specials.
Yeah, I
where he
see
was
that.
like, they make you feel like it makes you feel like these people are like all around us. That's how prevalent like it's in the pop culture on TV, whatever. You would think that everybody around you is transgender or going through a sex change. He's like, now they got a show on TV, about these people. He's like, how many motherfuckers really care about that?
Right.
He's like, why they get a TV show? He's like, there's literally 8 motherfuckers who really give a shit about that.
Right, and we have to.
I just thought that was great because I mean,
we had to
it's true,
change the
you
whole
would think that
language.
everybody around, you would think that every other person you met was one of these people, and there's such a small fraction of society that like they're policing language in the House of Representatives. That you got to be careful to mention your father by as being your father.
And that's and to paint a bigger picture, that's the main problem that I have and why I can never get on board with the left or Democrats. You give them an inch, they want 50 fucking miles. Okay.
Yeah.
Gay marriage is legal. Nobody in this America, at least I don't know. I don't know about Deep South or whatever the fuck. Nobody cares if anybody's gay anymore. Like, literally, we've come to a point where we should be celebrating the fact that nobody gives a shit if you are gay or not. Instead, they want to teach homosexuality to kindergartners. They want transgenders. And I've seen a transgender strip show at a 8-year-old's birthday party in California. They want to be able to get rid of pronouns. They want to, everybody's a man or a woman that turns into a woman or a man. They just take it. They keep taking it. They keep taking it. Keep taking it. Instead of saying, we won the battle, we can get married now. It's like when somebody don't want to make a cake for a gay marriage. Why the hell do you got to shut down the cake maker? Why don't you just go somebody where you find somebody that will make you a fucking cake? Why is it got to be such a big deal?
That's kind of like coronavirus too. Like, why are we shutting down all these businesses when people have the ability to say they do or do not want to go somewhere?
It's the illusion of choice, right? You're taking away the freedom, your choice. You have to think they want everybody to think exactly the same, and if you don't, then you are shamed and you are shut down. You're a white supremacist, or you're some kind of phobe. You're a phobia. You have a homophobe or Islamophobe, right?
You're something phobe, yeah, for sure.
Instead of just let us just roll with it, like people don't care anymore. I just feel like we're at a point in America where we should be celebrating how far we've come instead of still fucking fighting over the same stupid shit. And I think that the left is the main one. They're the ones stoking the flames.
That's how I felt when racism became such a heated issue this year. It's like, seriously, like I have never heard so many racist things in my entire life until right now.
I know, right?
Yep.
And it's like, we literally elected an African-American president. Like, if that doesn't show you guys that we are making progress and we have made progress, then nothing will. But the generational ties to racism and just the generational, how the communities are, how your country is at the time when your parents and your grandparents grow up has a huge influence in racism. And it's not something that can just disappear after a day or because a riot breaks out or people are demanding equality. It's like, how do you prove that we're working on it, because the reality is it's been embedded into our culture. It's been embedded into our families, into lives, generation after generation after generation. And the only way to remove that is slowly taking it out each generation. And I was finally at that place where, like, racism it wasn't something I saw my friends really being affected by. It wasn't something people talked about. It's not like that. I mean, maybe I'm not Black, so I don't know what it's like to be like stereotyped and things like that, but it just seems like it just came out, and then suddenly everybody is flocking to it, and now we've like stirred up the pot where maybe things were starting to settle at the bottom, and those generational things were slowly being removed, and over time the racism could have vanished and gone away completely, but it's never going to happen when people keep stirring that pot up and mixing that settlement.
Well, it's a tool. They gotta have it. They can't get rid of it. Racism is either a weapon or a defense mechanism. It's a weapon to attack people that disagree with you, or it's an excuse and it's a defense mechanism for why you didn't do anything for your life. Literally, that's how I feel.
If you don't support Biden, you're a racist
Right.
person. Because
Right.
I am definitely not a racist person. I'm not going to say that I've never made like unintentional racist comments or things in my life, but a lot of the things that I personally experienced in my life were racism on the other side. Like, I grew up in a city where there was, just as many Black people, if not more, than white people. And the white people didn't go to certain parts of the city because we already knew that we weren't welcome there. And, I've been literally had my life threatened before, just being in downtown Cincinnati when I was like a young mother. Because I was a white bitch in a primarily Black neighborhood. And I'm not justifying any kind of racism whatsoever. All I'm saying is that it does exist in all these different aspects, and everybody's experiences in their life kind of shape their own racist things. But I have the first boy I kissed when I moved, when I moved in the middle of my life and switched everything about my life, was an African-American boy. Some of my very best friends and the people in my wedding are African-American. But
Right.
I feel like if I talk openly about, if I openly say I voted for Trump or I disagree with certain things, that there are there really are friends of mine that are looking at me differently or talking about us differently or not talking to us anymore, just treating us completely different. Like people that have known me for 15 years and they know who I am and they know what kind of person I am and they know that I'm not a racist, but it's that you're automatically called a racist if you don't agree with everything that side of the fence says. And that's just the propaganda. That's just the government and the politics and
the
media.
brainwashing. It's just herding sheep into two different pens. And then we just yell at each other from across the aisle. You know what I mean? Like it makes it to where people who have we can't bring the conversation to light, and people who have very good opinions and can actually squash something like racism, which shouldn't even exist. The only reason it exists is because they want it to. But it keeps people from having intelligent conversations, or people with good opinions on it, just to be silent because they know that they're going to be called racist if they talk about it. Like myself, I talk about it a lot on this show, and I don't give a fuck. I've lost a lot of friends over this shit, but I don't care because I think it's necessary.
Kind of want to happen. That's why they push the narratives that they push. It's why they push the lies that they push and paint the pictures they paint, because they're trying to sow that division within our country, and to some effect, it works.
Well, and then they have people that have to vote one way.
In communication's a two-way street, and friendships are two-way streets. Everything, it takes more than just yourself being open to making these bridges with people, and they got to be willing to reach out and have an open mind too.
I agree.
It is tough.
You've been quiet over there. You don't say a whole lot about. You don't touch the race stuff, do you?
No, not really.
I go on my rant,
I'm just thinking about. Yeah, you do it. Because I don't know. I mean, I think certain stuff, but I don't know.
No, I don't.
I think about like my high school days, like going to school and shit. I went to like an all Black school and shit was cool. Like
everything was fine.
I couldn't. I don't know if I could imagine going to it now. I really don't.
But that's what I'm saying.
But it's just strange that we're having these conversations, but like it's weird. We are at a place in 2021 where we don't. We shouldn't really have to be kind of justify our perspectives or justify ourselves. Right? Like it's their narratives, it's their stories, it's their racial problems that they're telling us that our country has.
Right.
That is why we're having to sit here and try to struggle to tell our stories when none of us are racist, and we all have friends of all skin colors.
I literally
National-
don't even
you know, all
understand
backgrounds.
how
Yeah,
do
but we
people
have to
look
sit
at
here and try
somebody
to
with.
tell this story of our lives and how we relate to it because they're telling us it's such an issue and that we have to confront it. And
Yeah.
now we lose friends over it because of the stories that they push. And we lose friends over it because if you're a Trump supporter, then you're a racist and you're now you're a terrorist. And it's just
Yeah, it's
scary.
like, did you
That's the
forget who I
division.
actually am because you know me?
Yeah,
know?
it's a division that they're trying to sow.
The
It's
reason I
crazy.
bring up race so much on this show, and the main reason I always talk about, what always gets me into it, is when I am trying to explain to people that you can do something with your life. I said earlier, I spent 34 years thinking that that the government was against me. I was always going to be a nobody from nowhere. I was never going to make it, right? I've always thought that until I kind of got I've started watching other voices, and some of those voices being African American voices, telling me, hey, you know, this is America. You got a shot at it. You can do it. I wish somebody would have told me that back in the day, 30 fucking years ago or whatever, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. And I try to put that out there because when I see what the propaganda that goes on, like when you hear LeBron James come out and say everybody's, you know, African Americans are oppressed, they just don't have the equal opportunity, they don't have this, they don't have that, they don't have the money, whatever. Or I hear Ice Cube come out and say we need to figure out how we can fix Black America. It's like, motherfucker, you spent your entire 1990s talking about crack cocaine, selling crack cocaine, walking around with guns, shooting people. You indoctrinated these motherfuckers, the whole communities, to believe that they had to live this type of thug life, like carrying around a gun and selling drugs was the only way. LeBron James is a billionaire. Why not tell people that you can do it too? You don't have to be a basketball player, but you can be successful. You know what I mean? That's that's the angle I come from, because 2 years ago I just suddenly realized, holy shit, I can do something. I don't have to work a 9 to 5 every day. Like, I can actually be successful at something.
One of the most powerful driving forces in my life and in my successes was literally trying to avoid being the stereotype, because I was a young mother and
Right.
it was like I didn't have any help. I literally had no help besides baby daddy, who made like $9 an hour. And it was just one of those things where I knew right away people were going to look at me different. They were going to call me names. They were going to judge me. They were going to think I was a nobody. And that was my driving force. It was literally the one thing that pushed me, aside from my love for my children. But, you know, I truly believe that, like, just wanting to not be that stereotype, wanting to prove everybody wrong.
But the Democrat would tell you,
difference.
the Democrat would tell you, no, sweetie, you can't do it. We're going to give you, let us take care of this for you.
It's hard.
Just stay right there.
Here's your check.
Just stay right there. It's hard. We're going to take care of this for you. The more you have, the more we're going to give
It was hard.
you. And yeah.
Well, and that's when you really lose people, when I try to have that conversation, because I have had, you know, kind of my eyes open the last couple of years, and I am pushing to try to do something more, you know, better for myself, and I have, you know, throughout my career and the stuff that I'm doing now. But when you try to, because nothing comes easy, right? You guys both have great professions, right? You have to bust your fucking ass to get it. That's where you lose people, because you have this society now where everything's free. They'll just give it to me, right? When you want something and you want to be very successful at something, it takes. I'm talking. I listen to motivational stories all day long of people who've made it and are making millions of dollars and share their information. Arnold Schwarzenegger woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning, worked all day long, went to the gym for 5 hours. He said he slept 4 hours a night, and this man did this for years and years and years. That's why he got to where he was, because he was determined to be an actor, right? You're going to be shut down. You're going to deal with adversity. You're going to be told that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you're not strong enough. You don't look right, whatever the case may be. Sylvester Stallone was told that he would be better as a stuntman or a cameraman. He's not fit for acting, don't have the face. But he kept working and kept working. That's where you lose people, because it takes hard work.
He acted in Rocky. Yeah.
Right. It takes hard work, and you are going to get pushed down, and you are going to get told you're not good enough constantly. And that's where you really lose people, because people don't want to go through all that. You know how many times I got frustrated over editing videos and doing this shit, and I'm like, fuck it. You know how many times have I said I quit?
No, they
I'm
don't
done.
know. You should tell them.
No.
how many days or mornings or whatever I gotta listen to you scream, and I'll have the headphones on and you'll be screaming into your mic, and I literally have to take my headphones off like, fuck this shit.
But you got to
I
keep
told
pushing.
Richie before, I said they're doing legit stuff though. They're like making videos and they're like doing
I'm
research
trying.
and they have different segments on their show and you know I can tell that it takes work. So just so you know, I have noticed that you
But
guys,
that's
and I've already told Richie that you guys put time and effort into your shows.
Oh
This
shit!
isn't
That's
just
like when I hear people say, "I want to be a YouTuber." My kid wants to be a YouTuber. I'm like, "Do you have you know how fucking hard it is to edit a goddamn video? Do you know how long it takes to sit down and edit a video? Like I've done it. I thought I was gonna hop on here and just throw shit together, but that's where you lose everybody. Nobody has the work ethic
Yeah.
to want to be great. Like you guys, like I said, you guys have professions. I'm sure it didn't come easy. It didn't just fall into your lap. You didn't just get it right. Like it takes work, and that's
Right,
where
Christy,
that's,
I mean, yeah. To your point, Christy was a mother to 2 sick children,
Yeah.
20 years
Right.
old, and she had to graduate high school by correspondence, and then put herself through nursing school
I'm at
with
16,
2 sick
not
children.
20.
right.
But you had
Yeah.
Caden. I said 2.
Yeah, I had
said
2
two.
kids when I was 20. Yeah, but I
Right.
literally,
And going to
like,
nursing
even
school.
though I had a person in the house helping, you know, I guess you want to call it helping out. Like I did that on my own. I stayed up all night long to study for my test, and I would go take a test literally not sleeping because I wasn't allowed to take naps. I didn't get rest. I didn't get help. It was me taking care of the kids and or going to school all during the. I worked at a daycare so that I could pay for my daycare so that I could go to school.
Man,
So
oh man.
I mean that's the kind of stuff that like the obstacles in the way of preventing people who are at the bottom or have unfortunate circumstances that might impede their success. They really have to go through lots and lots of different obstacles, like stuff like that, just to be able to get
Right.
an education.
Wait a minute.
But
You didn't use your white privilege card? What's wrong with you?
I don't really understand the white privilege thing because I don't honestly think that I have had hardly any I don't get it. I mean, I guess maybe I haven't been, cut off of things because of the color of my skin, but like I have literally had every disadvantage that you can possibly imagine thrown at me in my life, starting from the time I can remember, like 5-6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's helping me. Nobody's buying my cars. Nobody's furnishing my house. Nobody's paying my bills or my college education. Like I said, nobody even helps me, with my children so that I could study for my test or go to school. I figured it out all on my own, and I did it by myself. And if you're not driven, if you're not motivated, or like Steve said, someone's not pushing you to say you can do better, you don't have
or
to
telling you
stay
you can
here,
do it. Yeah.
then your chances are you're just going to give up eventually, and that's where you're going to fall.
Yep. That's it. And that's the issue with society today. Everything should be free.
But I will never be able to look at somebody and hate them just because of their skin color, though.
Yes,
But-
I know.
Ever.
None of us
Not
have ever done
ever.
Right. None of us have ever done
None
that.
of us
but
have ever done that, and
it's
none of
the-
us have ever done that, and that's what's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can
We're
see
being-
I
animosity.
I
towards
want
you
to
guys.
understand
I've been
how
looked
that
at.
even happens,
I've
though.
been looked at and hate
Yeah.
because of
Right.
the color of my
I
skin.
feel like I have been too.
You was
But
just telling the story the
yeah.
other day that somebody did that shit to you.
yeah. I interrupted this nurse lady. I was waiting on my sister's surgery to be done, and I
And she looked
walked
at you
over
like,
to the
"This
spot they
bitch."
told me to go to, and I said, they told me to come over here so you guys could take me back to my sister. And she's like, oh, we don't do that over here, and you still got a few hours, so you might as well just sit down. But before I started speaking to her, I was standing there waiting, and she was messing around on her phone like I was, like she did not want to do her job. So
And she looked at
then
you
I
with-
walked back over to the other side, and that lady made several phone calls and decided to help me out.
Well, but you was discriminated against for your color.
It was crazy. Yeah, she was looking at me some
Yeah.
kind of way.
I feel like a judge did that to me once. I feel like a African American judge did that to me once in court because she was literally talking to me like shit for no reason. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't the one who was being sued here. I was the one who brought the case forward, and I'm the good person here. I'm the one who's working really hard and doing all the right things. And like I literally felt like I was attacked by this lady the second I walked in the courtroom, and I think it was because I'm a good-looking white woman. I mean,
We should
there's
be having this
literally no other
conversation in
reason.
2021.
Yeah, it
But
is
we are.
I
crazy.
know what the reason
Here we
was,
are.
and
Yeah.
that's how it
Here we
felt
are.
to me, and that's how it is when it comes to me personally. And like whether or not I feel comfortable around someone or I like someone, it has absolutely nothing to do with the color of their skin. It's more about how I feel when I'm around that person,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
energies that person's giving off with their attitude and their themselves. What are they projecting to me? It has absolutely nothing to do with the color of their skin.
Right. Like, I'm not mad at that girl for anything. I just don't know what I did to her. I don't know. I literally walked away and I was like, damn, is it like because I'm white? Like,
God, we've been through everything, haven't we? We've touched on every topic. I won't have to do a
but
show
I ain't
for
mad
a
at
month.
nobody. It's whatever.
Yeah. I don't know how we ended up here, but here we are.
Here we are.
That's how it
I guess
goes.
we're going to end this thing
Here we
here.
are.
We've been on for a while, hour and a half now.
Sounds
So
good.
We,
Hey,
we
but
got.
there is that football tomorrow.
I know, right? I can't wait. Is it tomorrow? Is it no games on? Is there?
Wait, tomorrow's Saturday.
Oh wait,
yeah,
that's-
but they have games on Saturday now. It's fucking on
I think they
Nickelodeon
do.
and everything.
Let me yeah, so I believe that there are games tomorrow. Saturday. Because like last weekend they had them on Saturday
Yeah.
as well as
Oh,
Sunday.
So
man.
Rams Packers, and
there you go.
Ravens Bills is tomorrow. Rams Packers at 4:35.
Oh,
Ravens
this is all the
Bills,
shit you was writing down.
8:15. We'll have to wait to watch the great
Gotcha.
Tom Brady till
Oh,
Sunday.
God,
at
here he
6:40.
goes again.
So I mean, we'll wait. So the great Tom Brady plays Sunday at 6:40, which is an odd time.
Better make sure them balls
I-
ain't deflated.
Well, when he wins, I get to rub everybody's face in it.
Hey, he plays in the warm weather now. That was yeah.
Right.
So I think Tom Brady. I want him to win, but I think the Saints are going to win.
Shrinkage.
We'll see.
Ugh.
We'll see. All right, we got to end this thing. Let's get out of here. Thank you guys for calling in. Thank you guys for being a
All
part
right,
of the
bye,
show.
guys.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
His microphone fell out.
Yep, my microphone fell out. There we go.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good one.
Bye.
All
Yeah.
right, take care, guys. Bye.
See ya.
You too. Bye.
Good
Bye.
conversation. Lots of good talk. All right. Good job. That was a good show. We was a little bit of everywhere there. Just want to put out there to people that we are not hateful human beings. So hopefully everything you heard and everything that we said makes sense. You know, because it is like that, right? You can't talk about a lot of things anymore without having a lot of blowback and a lot of drawback and a lot of people getting angry with you. We're just trying to speak truth here. And the biggest thing is trying to bring everybody together. If you have an opposing viewpoint, if you have an argument, if you listen to us at any point tonight and said, these guys are full of shit, please call in. Comment in the Facebook section. Download the Podbean app. I would love to have an honest, candid conversation. Like Eric said earlier, you know, find people that have disagreeing viewpoints, bring them in, and hash this shit out, right? I mean, because that's where the progress is made. We're not as different as you think we are. We're not as against each other as you think we are. It's society, it's governments, it's mainstream media that pits us against each other and creates this false narrative that we have to hate one another because we feel differently about things. When we're not that different after all. We're not. We're really not as different as you think we are. That's the point, right? And I think we had a lot of really good conversations. We was a little bit of everywhere, but I think we had some good, open, candid, you know, moments where we just told it how it was, or at least how we feel. And I don't think anything hateful can. If you heard anything hateful, then your eyes are obviously closed and your ears are obviously stuffed full of toilet paper, and you don't want to fucking hear anybody.
Don't
Because that's
stuff
not
them
the
with
message.
toilet paper. There's a shortage.
Smart ass. I swear to God. You're such a smart ass. Are you ready to get out of here? That was a good show.
Sure.
Hour and a half, though. That's a long show. We had a good show. We got to do more of this. We're definitely got to switch our time slot to the evening and just have people call in and stuff during the evening. Because it's definitely, I mean, you see the numbers right there, right? I mean, they explode. They're way better than they are in the daytime.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is people getting upset with what we talk about.
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, because we talked about homosexuality and African American and then race and all this other stuff, and it doesn't come. The point I'm trying to make is it doesn't come from a hateful point of view. It comes from a point of view is from, you know, let's fix this shit. Let's stop fighting with each other. This is how, the fuck are we doing here? 2021. The only reason we're fighting is because they're telling us to.
Nobody knows what's going on.
Nobody knows what's going on. That's
Except
pretty
for
much
my
that pretty
wine.
much sums it up right there. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody.
I've had 2 kids quarantined in the same fucking week.
One for a day and a half.
Right.
A day and a half quarantine. He went to school all week. He quarantined. We didn't
Until
even touch on
somebody can
coronavirus.
explain all
That's
that
what
shit
we
to
need to
me.
touch on next time. Coronavirus.
What?
Coronavirus.
What about it?
We didn't even touch
fucking
it.
sick of it.
We didn't even touch on it. We
there
haven't
it is.
touched on
I'm
it in
fucking
2
sick of it.
shows. We have completely forgot to talk about the most important pandemic, the end of the world virus that is going to kill everybody where they stand. We have yet to talk about that on this show in the last, week, 2 weeks? It's been a while since we've really sat down and cracked down and we got to re-examine the coronavirus pandemic. We got to revisit it.
We did.
We just kind of touched
There's a
on it
new
here and
strain.
there. I want to dig deep. Dig deep.
I want it to go the fuck away.
Me too, but it's not. They're using it. It's not going anywhere. Are you kidding me? They don't want to get rid of coronavirus. They love it. Anyways, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being a part of the show tonight. Thank you, Nurse Nikki. And what do I say? Big Stick? Is it Big Stick?
Sweet Rich.
Sweet Rich. Sweet Rich the Big Stick.
Shut the fuck up.
I feel like
Oh God.
I feel like the conversation
don't
was
say that
had.
ever again.
I feel like, he was like, my nickname's Big Stick, and Nikki was like, what? And he was like, yeah, it's because of the golf clubs. And she was like, oh, that makes sense. Right? Sweet Rich. No, I like the names. I wish I need a nickname. Can I be like something other than Stupid Steve? Can I be like
Yeah, we all know it. Everyone knows it. Your nickname. Little Stevie.
Don't fuck off. You can fuck all the way off with that. I'll quit doing this if you start calling me Stevie. Little Stevie. You can call me Big... What was it? What was it? Big something Johnson?
Joe... I don't know. I don't remember.
Big Don Johnson? Big
I
Don
don't remember.
Johnson. Anyways,
that
we gotta
might
get the
have
fuck
been
out of here. What are we rambling about? Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being a part of the show. We'll be back on Monday, probably evening, 7:30, 8 o'clock. Who knows? But we will be back on Monday. We might even do a show this weekend. NFL recap Sunday night.
I'm busy. It's my last day.
Wow. You don't want to gloat when Tom Brady loses? Because I'm going to gloat when he wins. All right, we got to get out of here. Thank you guys. It's been a pleasure. Check us out on www.jadip2020.com. Check us out on the Facebook page at JADIP2020, YouTube JADIP2020, Instagram JADIP2021. Check out all of our stuff. Like, share, comment, all that good stuff, and follow us anytime. I went so long into that outro. I have to play my music again. We are out of here.